So hi everyone and welcome to the ins and outs of OhioLINK. We're really excited to have Judy Cobb from OhioLINK here presenting for us. Judy Cobb is the Associate Director of Operations and Platforms, where she leads operational support and assessment of content platforms, member support, and e-tutoring services for OhioLINK. And OhioLINK is Ohio's statewide academic library consortium. Judy has decades of experience working in library services, nonprofits, and state organizations, and has taught workshops on records management, electronic records, metadata, and digital preservation. She also has presented at the Society of American Archivists, the American Library Association, and the National Association of Government Archivists and Records Administrators. Her Master of Library Science degree is from the University at Buffalo, and her undergrad degree in religion is from Houghton College. So without further ado, I'll let Judy take it away, and you'll get to learn all about OhioLINK today.
Thanks, Julia. And hello, everybody. I want to thank you for attending the session today, the ins and outs of OhioLINK. And before we get started, I want to thank Brian and Julia for inviting me to present at your Library Week sessions this year. I hope you have a chance to attend several sessions and learn about all of the resources that are available to you through Eastern Gateway Library. So as Julia said, I'm Judy Cobb. I'm the Associate Director of Operations and Platforms at the OhioLINK Central Office in Columbus, Ohio. And my team at OhioLINK is responsible for user support, general operations, and managing our content platforms. We're going to talk about those content platforms later today. So I'm going to actually turn off my video right now just to save internet bandwidth, and we'll walk our way through these slides. Oops, went too far. So at the OhioLINK offices, we hear this statement quite often from students who contact us. My professor told us to use OhioLINK. Can you help me with that? So your professor knows what she means when she says use OhioLINK, but perhaps hasn't explained what OhioLINK is to you and how you can use it. So that's our goal today, to help you understand what OhioLINK is and talk about a few of the core resources that OhioLINK provides to you. I don't have time to go into a lot of depth, but I hope it points you in the right direction when you need an OhioLINK resource. So I want to start by talking about what OhioLINK is. OhioLINK is used to mean two different things. One is OhioLINK, the organization, and the other is OhioLINK, the collection of library resources. So I'm going to spend just a little time explaining what OhioLINK, the organization, is, and then we'll spend most of the time on the resources. So OhioLINK is a group or a consortia of 117 academic libraries in Ohio and the State Library of Ohio. We have a central office with a central office staff that supports the consortia in Columbus. And we do that through negotiating cost savings, technology initiatives, and shared work. But perhaps more important than what OhioLINK is what we do. So OhioLINK libraries work together to provide shared library resources for all of our members, students, faculty, and staff. That's almost 1 million people. By sharing resources, your library, excuse me, and all participating OhioLINK libraries have access to more library content than they could afford on their own, because we have negotiating power and we share the load of the work to provide library users access to those resources. So with OhioLINK, all Ohio higher ed students have access to a core set of library resources and services, both print and digital. And at the core of OhioLINK is a belief really in equity and in cooperation. We provide all of our shared content at a cost of about $50 per student per year. That's less than the cost of one college textbook, less than the cost of a Amazon Prime membership or your Netflix membership annually. For that $50 a year, every student in higher ed in Ohio gets access to over 45 million shareable print materials, 34 million academic journal articles, over 300,000 academic ebooks, and about 150 databases. So it's a good value for getting access to that much academic content for every student in the state. It's a pretty big deal. Every college and university student in Ohio, in OhioLINK, has access to that core set of academic library resources. Whether you're at a small college or a huge research university, rural, urban, online learning, or in-person learning, it doesn't matter who you are or where you are. OhioLINK library resources are available to you. And I really like that little dog. It's really cute. So with that, let's talk about how OhioLINK can help you in your studies and your classwork. Excuse me. As I already mentioned, we have sort of two main services, shared print and shared digital materials. Again, you have access to about 45 million physical items, a lot of books, that are held in libraries all across the state of Ohio. And you can borrow them and have them delivered right to your library in a few days. You also have access to shared online digital library resources like journals and books and databases that you can access anytime, anywhere. So we're going to spend the rest of our time together talking about or walking through sort of a high-level overview of a few of those shared resources. We're going to look at four things in particular: the OhioLINK Catalog, databases that OhioLINK provides, and in specifically two databases, an ebook database and online academic journals database. So we'll begin by looking at the OhioLINK Catalog. This is where you go if you want to borrow a physical item from another OhioLINK library. So if your local library doesn't have the book you need, OhioLINK is probably the next best place to look because it's in-state and you can request the item yourself and it will be delivered right to you. So you can see on this slide, now we're looking at a screenshot of the GatorLink Library Catalog. That's the Eastern Gateway College Library Catalog. You can link to the OhioLINK Central Catalog from this page right down here by the green arrow. It says OhioLINK Catalog. That's one way you can get to the OhioLINK Catalog. That will take you to the catalog. Our catalog has two different interfaces. So the one you're looking at on this slide is sort of a more traditional looking library catalog interface. So you can select how to begin your search. You can use a keyword, title, author, subject, call number, or other number up here across the top here of this page. And you can click on any of those and then enter your words in the search box. For the other numbers field, just so you know, those are numbers like an ISBN, which identifies a book, or an ISN, which identifies an academic journal, and those kinds of sort of library identifiers. So if you notice on this screenshot up here, there's another link called the Encore Catalog. This is another view of the OhioLINK Catalog. And it's meant to be sort of a more, I don't know, modern Google-like view. So as you can see, you're not asked to select what fields you want to search or how you want to search. It's just a basic general search box. You can use either one of these interfaces to search the OhioLINK Catalog. Same content, same database behind it, just two different UIs. So before we go any further, I want to do a little sidebar just to talk a little bit about searching for library resources. Library resources like the catalog and the databases we're going to look at today, they're not Google. You're searching across library materials that have been selected for you, are curated for you to be good academic resources. The materials that are in library catalogs and databases represent this sort of complex ecosystem of collections that are gathered from different vendors, different libraries, different types of materials, and they're all put together for you to use. So you have to learn how to use an academic library. But once you do, you'll find better resources for your academic work. So let's get back to the catalog. The OhioLINK Catalog includes physical items from all OhioLINK libraries that can be borrowed by someone from another OhioLINK library. So every OhioLINK library has to agree to be part of OhioLINK that they will share a certain percentage of their physical collection. And that's one of the things that's represented in the OhioLINK catalog. So you, as an Eastern Gateway student, can borrow print materials from any other OhioLINK library. The catalog also includes e-resources or digital content like ebooks and journals that are shared amongst all of the OhioLINK libraries. So you can find both digital and print here. What I want to focus on today, however, is the fact that you can find something in print and then request it yourself and have it delivered to you. So I'm going to get out of PowerPoint, go into the OhioLINK catalog, and you're going to see these words on every demo slide today. If you aren't sure what to do whenever you're searching or looking for a library resource, ask your librarian or use the information that the librarians have made available on their website to help you. They're your best resource for any type of library question or research question that you have. So I'm going to start our journey to the OhioLINK catalog on the Eastern Gateway page. So from your library main page, I'm going to scroll down here and go to the GatorLink catalog. And then I'm going to go down here to the OhioLINK catalog. Now, you remember that I mentioned there's sort of two interfaces to the OhioLINK catalog. This is that more traditional looking interface, and the more modern-ish Google interface is up here on this link called Encore. So I'm actually going to take us into the Encore catalog because it has some, I don't know, it has some filtering features I like better. So we're going to sort of imagine that we're taking a class in psychology, and we're looking for some resources on child psychology. So I'm just going to enter kind of a general search term, child psychology. You'll see that there are over 13,000 search results that have come up. And you can filter these search results. So you can refine your search because 13,000 things is probably too many to scroll through. So you can limit your search results so that you can only see those digital online resources. You can limit it to a certain type of format. Say you only want to watch a video. You can limit it to that. You can limit by language. You can limit by date, by the place something was published, also by subject. And then down here, if you keep scrolling, on the left sidebar, you'll notice that we also give you some links that are additional suggestions for searches that you might want to use. So for our demonstration, I'm just going to do a quick date filter, and I'm going to look just for sort of more modern resources, so resources that have been published in the last couple of years. And that takes my search results down to a more reasonable number of 371. And here, as I mentioned, this catalog has both digital shared resources. So here's an example of one of those. You can connect to it online You can connect, and we'll look at these platforms later. You can connect to the local OhioLINK platform. You can also connect to the resources on the publisher's website. We'll talk a little more about that later. If we scroll down, here's an example of a print book. And you can, right from the search results page, click the request it, and you can request to borrow the book and have it delivered to you. You can also do things like add it to a folder. And this is basically like just a little place for you to save things that you're interested in maybe looking at later. So you can put lots of different things in there and then click on that and you'll see them all come up in a list. I'm going to go back now to that previous page and back to the search result we were looking at. You can also email a link to yourself. You can also download a citation if you want to. So I'm actually going to click through here and go to a more detailed description of this book. And I'll just scroll down. You can see sort of traditional library descriptions here, summary, notes, comments. But I want to bring your attention down here to locations. You can see that there is one OhioLINK library that has this book and from which you can borrow. And that's Lakeland Community College. So again, from this detailed page, you can do all those same things. You can put it in a folder, email it to yourself. You can also request it. So I'm not going to follow through on borrowing this book, but I'll show you kind of what it looks like. So if you select the Request It button, you'll see a new window pop up. It will ask you to tell us where you're from. So I'm going to put Eastern Gateway in. And then you'll be asked to put in your name and your barcode and where you want to pick it up, which will be one of your library locations. You submit it and the request is done. You've requested the item yourself. You don't have to ask a librarian or anybody else to do that work for you. And you'll get an email notification, I think. So I'm going to scoot back here to PowerPoint. So once you have clicked that borrow button, Lakeland Community College, which is the OhioLINK member that had the book that you wanted to borrow, will see your request that you want that book. It will pull it from their shelves. It will package it up. And then a courier will pick up the item from them and deliver it to your the location you selected at your school. We move a lot of library materials, like millions, through the state. Our courier moves library material for both academic and public libraries all throughout the state of Ohio. We don't use FedEx and we don't use UPS, so there's no tracking. You're not going to be able to click a link and see when to expect the delivery of your item. Why isn't there tracking? Because tracking is expensive and we are working very hard to make services affordable to the state and to all of you. So items are generally delivered within 3 to 5 days. If you need library material faster than that, contact your library and they may be able to help you find a digital version, or they may be able to help you find maybe something similar. But not quite what you're looking, that item that you're looking for. Okay. So I'm going to switch gears here and take a quick look at OhioLINK Databases. So your library gets access to roughly 150 databases through the OhioLINK shared system. Again, these are databases that are shared with all students, faculty, and staff at every OhioLINK institution. When you're using a database that your library gets through OhioLINK, you may never see OhioLINK. You may not have any idea that this is an OhioLINK resource. That's just fine. You don't need to. It just looks like a database that's available to you through your library. Database searching is often done to get information on a particular subject or to maybe find a database of particular material, like I want to search just ebooks. So I wanted to keep going with our example that we've been using about searching for materials about psychology. And before I go out to your databases page, I wanted to have you take a quick look at the screenshot that I've taken in this green circle. So, and we'll see this live in a minute, but for psychology and for a lot of subjects, your librarians have already put together what are called guides. And these are web pages that your librarian has compiled to show you resources that you can use for psychology resources. They're amazing things. So please, if you see those showing up on the website, please make sure to take advantage of them. So I'm going to get out of PowerPoint again, and I'm going to go to Eastern Gateways, what we call A to Z database list. So librarians, this is what we call it. It's an A to Z database list. It's a list, alphabetical list of all the databases that you have access to. So you can browse through that list, alphabetical. You can also sort of filter the list. So you can filter by subject. You can filter by type. So you could look for databases that only have ebooks, for example. You could also look for a database by a provider. So if your professor mentioned something about, I don't know, searching EBSCO, you could get to an EBSCO database that way. You can also do just a search to see what's in there. So I'm going to go and I'm going to do a subject filter for, I can't see it, psychology. And this is the page that I showed you that screenshot of before with these psychology guides over here on the right side. Again, please take a look at those if you're ever searching in here and need some further help doing your research. So these are the databases related to psychology. Some of these come from OhioLINK and are shared with all OhioLINK members. Some of them aren't. It doesn't matter. Their database is there for you to use. If you click on one of these, you'll be asked to log in. I'm not going to do that because I don't have an Eastern Gateway login, but you'll be asked to log in and then you'll go into the database itself. So I'm going to clear that filter and I want to show you on this A to Z database list that OhioLINK is actually listed under the vendor/provider dropdown. OhioLINK does provide some searchable databases that we host locally that are available to you. And we're going to spend the next few minutes talking about two of those in particular, the OhioLINK Electronic Book Center and the OhioLINK Electronic Journal Center. So I'm going to go back here to my PowerPoint slides. So we'll start with ebooks. So OhioLINK provides access to roughly 300,000 academic ebooks. Some of those books are available via vendor databases like we just looked at. And you'll probably never know, again, that it's an OhioLINK resource. That's good. Other ebooks are hosted on an OhioLINK specific platform called the Electronic Book Center. The Electronic Book Center has about half, a little more than half of the total ebooks that we give you access to through OhioLINK. The general rule of thumb, not that this really matters, but in the Electronic Book Center, these are books that we've purchased for us to own over the long term. The rest of the ebooks, most of them have been leased, so we only have access to them for a certain particular period of time. So you can search and find OhioLINK ebooks in the central catalog. Remember when we were looking at the catalog, we noticed that there were some links here. So there's 3 different links, one to the OhioLINK Electronic Book Center, one for on-campus access to the book on the publisher site, and another for off-campus access. So you can find a book that way and you can click directly to it, or you can go directly to the OhioLINK Electronic Book Center, which is a standalone site. Again, about half of our ebook collection, a little more than half, is included in the OhioLINK EBC, and it has all kinds of ebooks in there, everything from old English poetry to books on artificial intelligence and everything in between. All of the books in there, you can read them online or you can download them, and we're adding new content to it all the time. So I'm going to take us back away from PowerPoint again and take us out to the EBC. So this is what the OhioLINK Electronic Book Center looks like. So again, all of the 160 or so thousand books in here are full text searchable. So you're not just searching like the title and the author in a description or summary field. You're searching the full text of the actual books. There are a couple different ways to search and browse. One is just using this sort of general Google-like search box on the front page. There's also an advanced search that you can come in and use and do that sort of fielded searching. Being a little slow, there we go. So you can search, you can decide to search the full text or just search for a title. A lot of times we know the title of the book. So if you know the title, click title only, put your search terms in. And then you can select by other different fields for the advanced search. Let me go back to the main page here. All of our books have also been put in sort of categories. So this is kind of a nice browse feature. If you're just looking for books about a particular topic, it's a good way to start. And I'm going to keep scrolling down here and look, there's a psychology category. So I'm going to click on that and we'll see what we find. So we've got 146 books or 146 books that we found. And similar search results page, right? So down the left side of your page, there's some filters and refinements that you can do if you need to. Probably for this interface, publication year might be a particularly valuable one. And then over on the search results side, on the middle and right side of the page, you can see a list of your search results. So the title is the link, so you can go to see a little more description about that book. If you don't want to do that, you can go right into reading the book. You can also download the book from here. You can also favorite it. We'll look at favorites here in a minute. So I'm actually going to do a filter again, just to find some more modern materials. I'm going to scroll so that we're just looking at books that were published in the last couple of years. That narrows our search down even more to 157 items. So we'll pick one. How about, I don't know, how about this one? So this is the detailed page for that book, which you can see a description of the book. And you can see that it's in the psychology category. If you need a citation from the book, you can also get that here. And again, same options as before. You can download it, you can favorite it, or you can just read it. This is the reading interface for the book content. So this is really customizable for a lot of our ebooks. Some of the ebooks in here are just PDFs. This one happens not to be. So for this one, we can actually change the layout. So it's one screen or two. We can change the font in the background. So depending on where you're reading it or what your preference is, we can change the font. We have an open dyslexic font and then Roboto font. So whatever your reading preference is there, and that's changed as soon as you click it. And then it's just like reading a book, right? So you can scroll your way through. You can search within the text of the book if you want to find particular terms that you're looking for. The last thing I want to point out here is there is the ability to sort of personalize how you use this interface. So you do have the ability to make a favorite, to bookmark pages, and to take notes in those within the book. But in order to do all three of those things, you do have to create an account. So you don't have to create this account just to use the ebooks, but you do if you want to use those more personalization features. So you don't have to even give us your email address, just a username and password. And once you do that, let me see if I can log in and show you. So now I can say, this is a favorite, and I can bookmark this page, and it'll show those bookmarks right down here on the left side. I can also take notes. Down here, you can see I can add a note. So these are saved and they're associated with that account that you just created. So if you're maybe working at your home computer and then you want to go and look at the same ebook when you're someplace else on a phone or an iPad, all you have to do is log in and you haven't lost your place and you haven't lost your note. So that's a nice feature. Okay. So I'm going to take us back out of the browser and send us back to PowerPoint. And let me catch up with myself here. Oops. So the last OhioLINK service that we're going to look at today are academic journals, how to find them and how to get them. So in your research or maybe in your classes, you may come across citations to articles in academic journals. This is an example of one. We've switched from psychology to accounting now. And I want to take a few minutes about how to find these articles and how OhioLINK can help you with that. When you see a journal article, Google is actually amazingly good at finding that journal article. So I actually did a Google search and I just took that entire citation and put it in the Google box and clicked go, and it brought it right up. And I can click through. I go not to an OhioLINK site, but to the vendor who provides this content to the library. And I can see an abstract. And if I wanted to read the article, I have a problem. It's paywalled. So although Google can find it, it can't necessarily actually get me to that particular article. So if you run into that kind of situation, try the OhioLINK Electronic Journal Center. So OhioLINK has access and provides access to just about 13,000 academic journal titles. We have just about 37 million articles all in this journal database. Most of the articles that we have in here have the full text of the actual article. All of those are full text searchable, and all of them have links not only to our local copy of the article, but also to the journal site, like that Wiley site that we just looked at. So before we go any further, just a note, you've heard me say this before, searching in the EJC, the Electronic Journal Center, isn't like searching Google. If you copy and paste that entire citation and put it into the search box in the EJC, you're not going to get any results. That doesn't mean it's not there. The EJC just isn't made to be able to take that entire citation and figure out what you're looking for. So when you're looking for a citation in a journal and you're coming to the Electronic Journal Center to do that, you want to narrow down your search terms as much as possible. So academic journals are published on very specific topics, and they're published on a publication schedule. So they're kind of like a magazine, right? They're published every month. There's articles inside them, and then there's another one the next month and another one the next. A section of a journal is called a volume. Within each volume, there's several issues, and then within each issue are all of those articles. So if you have a citation like we do here, your best search strategy in the Journal Center is to search by a specific piece of information. Okay, so in this case, you might search by article title because you know the entire title, or you might search by the DOI. A DOI is a digital object identifier. It's basically just like a unique code that is related only to this specific article. Okay, so let's, with that, take a look at the Journal Center. Oh, just a note before we go there, shared journals are available in the OhioLINK Catalog, that first resource we started looking at, but they're only available at the title level. So you might be able to find that this particular journal is in there, but you won't know if we have that particular article. So just an FYI there. So I'm going to, again, do the same, go out of PowerPoint and go to the Electronic Journal Center. So this is the Electronic Journal Center. Again, similar interface, a general search on the front page. There's a more advanced search that you can use, again, for more sort of fielded searching like we've seen on those other advanced search pages. So you can select what field you want to search, and you can select more than one. So you can narrow your searching down quickly and easily that way if you want to. So for our purposes right now, we're looking for a specific article, and it was the Towards Measuring Professionalism in Accounting article. Since we know the exact title, I'm going to put that in quotes, and I'm just going to do a general search. And there it is. It brings it right up. So I just want to show you that we can also do that using the DOI, that digital object identifier. And again, it brings that article right up. In the EJC, very similar interface. You'll find this in a lot of library resources. You're going to see search results here in the middle and right of the page, and then filters and refinements on the left. So in the Electronic Journal Center, once you get to your search results, you can get a citation for the article. You can download that citation. Oh, you have to select it first. You can download that citation. You can email it to yourself, and you can export it. We also show you on the search results page a brief description of what's in that article, some keywords. And then there's, in this case, there's 3 different links. All of these will take you to the article with a few differences. I just had a program start up and I didn't ask it to. Just give me a minute. I thought I turned them all off. Okay, I think we're good. You have a DOI link. You have a link to the publisher site, and then you have this link in red, which is a link to that article that's in our local database for journal content. So I can't see there we go. Let's go back. You can also go and look at a more detailed description of the article by clicking on the article title. Again, you can get to the article over here under files. You can also, if you want to, go and browse the contents of this entire journal. So if you click on the journal title, you can see that these are all the volumes and issues and articles we have. So if you wanted to browse around, if you thought, oh, this is a journal I might be interested in, you can browse through and take a look at the articles that way. Oh, and one more thing, you can search within journal. I forgot that one. So you can search there. So you can search just within the contents of this one journal. We also give you sort of like an A to Z list of all the journals that are in the EJC. And again, we allow you to filter that so you can search. So you can search by title. You can filter by subjects. So let's go back to psychology here. Having a lot of trouble seeing the word psychology today. There we go. So here's a list of journal titles that are related to psychology. From here, you can click into them and again, go to that journal title page. Okay. I am going to move us back to our PowerPoint now. So I want to finish up today with sort of a few slides to sort of your take-home slides, right? If you don't remember anything else that we talked about, what are the things that you should take home and try to remember? So OhioLINK itself is two things. It's an organization of libraries in Ohio that share resources. We share print resources and we share digital electronic resources. All of those are available to you and to every OhioLINK member throughout the state. Maybe the main resource that OhioLINK has is the OhioLINK Catalog. So you can use that to get print materials. You can request them and they'll be delivered right to you. Or you can find those shared e-resources we talked about. So you could find an ebook in there. You could find a journal title in there. We also have databases, and we looked at two of those. We looked at the OhioLINK Electronic Book Center, and we looked at the OhioLINK Electronic Journal Center. So you can use databases in general to find library resources, and then you can use the Book Center and or the Journal Center to find content that's either ebook or e-journal. The next take home I hope you remember is that you need to learn to use your library. Searching library resources is not like searching on Google. Doing academic research is a skill, and you have to take the time to learn it. And once you do, you'll be well served by the library, by the resources that your library has for you, and also by these shared resources that OhioLINK has for you. And if you don't know what to do, if you've never used a library, if you just don't know where to start, always go to your librarian. Your library has really cool and really good resources for you. They have an online chat. And every time I go there, I've kind of been lurking on your library website quite a lot lately. It's always there. Somebody's always there to chat with me if I would need help. They have lots of FAQs. They have those guides that we talked about that are subject specific. So if you don't know where to start and you're taking a psychology class, it'll walk you through all the available resources and how to use them. So please, your library will indeed help you figure out how to do that research and how to use library resources. And with that, I want to thank you all for listening to the session today about OhioLINK library resources. And I'll ask now if anybody has any questions. And I'm going to turn my video back on so I can see you.
Thank you, Judy. That was a great presentation. I learned a lot.
Yes, thank you so much, Judy. I also learned a lot.
Oh, good.
And while people are typing questions or thinking of questions, I want to put in a shameless plug for our how to use the library workshops that are coming up just a little bit at 3:45. Julia and I are presenting on where do I search, which kind of builds on what Judy was saying. And then tomorrow, I think we have Pam at 12:30 doing a presentation on search terms and what they are. And then on Thursday, Amanda at 7 p.m. is giving a library research hacks to maximize your time. So we have some good sessions on how to use the library, and I'm going to post our Library Week guide in the chat. So if you haven't registered for any of those sessions, feel free to check them out and sign up for them. And even if you can't register, attend the live event, register for the event, and we'll send a recording out afterwards. So I'm not sure if any questions came into the chat while I was talking, but
Yeah, I haven't seen any questions yet, Brian. If anyone has any, feel free to put them in chat. We'll give just a little bit of time, but yeah, this was very helpful.
Thank you again for inviting us here. It was a pleasure to talk with all of you. And I hope you take advantage of all of these Library Week sessions. This is a very cool program that Brian and Julie are putting on for all of you.
Thank you, Judy. One thing I will say is I didn't realize how many ebooks were in the ebook center. Did you say there's
so
160,000?
Yep. It actually surprised me too when I went looking for the numbers. I was like, that's a lot.
So there's one question. What's the latest you can get help from the library? Monday through Thursday, we have a person online until around 10 o'clock. Depending on staffing, sometimes that's a little bit earlier.
Yeah, that's 10 p.m. Eastern if you are located somewhere else. Yeah, like me.
Thanks, Julia. And then we have Friday, it's till 5, and then Saturday, I think is it 2 p.m. Eastern?
Yeah, on Saturday it's 2 p.m. Eastern.
So, but you can always email us, and whoever comes on first will also respond as soon as we get into the office. So I don't see any other questions.
Yeah, I think we're all set.
All right. Well, we'll let you go, and hopefully we'll see you all in an hour.
Yeah, and we'll send out this recording to all the registrants.